Okay, so good morning to all the students. How was the drama? Yes.
Superb.
Okay, so
Sorry, my
it was
audio is not
performed by
coming somehow.
Venkatesh and Priyanshu from the new drama team that we made in uh, from all of you. So they did a very wonderful drama. So thank you, Priyanshu and Venkatesh, for such a wonderful drama. And yeah, so today, today we are again having a positive thinker seminar. So I welcome all of you for today's positive thinker seminar series, and very grateful to you that from many days you are attending daily these sessions. So and today we have very special personality with us, Mr. Smriti Ranjan Saho, sir. Sir, am I audible to you?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for joining with us. And I would like to take this opportunity to introduce sir. So, sir has done his BTech from NIT Rourkela, and since 2008, he is connected with Voice. And also after that, he placed in Tata Steel in campus, in his campus placement. Currently working in a Tata Steel Limited at a post of manager, and also he has taken lead role in project planning for first phase 3 MTPA steel plant of Tata Steel in Kalingnagar, Odisha. This is one of his remarkable achievement in his career. And also he gives many seminars to youth based on Bhagavad Gita to help them grow spirituality. And so we are very happy that sir joined us and he's giving all of us his valuable time. So let's welcome him and get ready to hear from him attentively on today's auspicious occasion. So you might be wondering what is special today. Yes, anyone knows what is special today?
Narsimha
Thank you
Jayanti.
for sharing. Yes, Varat.
Narsimha Jayanti.
Sorry.
Narsimha Jayanti.
Yes, right. Narsimha Chaturdashi. So, yeah, you heard, some of you heard this first time. So, what is the meaning of this? Let us hear from Sir. What is the Narsimha Chaturdashi? So, thank you, Sir, for joining with us today. And I request all the students to kindly be attentive. And if you have any questions, you can ask at the end. Thank you, Mr. Smriti Sahu, sir. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you,
Handing
Vikram.
to you, sir.
Am I audible? Is it clear?
Audible little less voice. Yeah.
Is it clear now?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay. So thank you very much for giving me a chance to discuss about this topic with all of you. In case if you have got any doubt in between, you can put it on a paper so that later we can discuss. The session will be almost for an hour, and today we are going to discuss on this topic, that love of a boy that attracted the Lord of the universe. Though I'm not very much qualified to speak on such subject matters, but still I would try to help all of you with whatever I can. Okay, so as you rightly said, today is Narsimha Chaturdashi, Narsimha Dev's appearance day. So who was Lord Narsimha Dev? I'll request that let this session be a little more interactive one, so that what happens is we come to know each other, and then sharing of thoughts, ideas will become much better, so that learning also becomes better because of that. Okay. So who was Lord Narasimha Dev?
On the chat box, they are replying. Yeah.
Okay. So can you see this document that I have shared? Is it clearly visible?
Yes, visible. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So once upon a time, there was a person, I don't know how to, okay, so this is chat. Okay, so students are replying there. Incarnation of Lord Vishnu, avatar of Lord Vishnu, and okay, nice. Thank you. So what was the speciality there? Once upon a time, there was a big demon, named Hiranyakashipu. What is the meaning of Hiranyakashipu? Hiranya means gold, and Kashipu means soft bed. That means a person who is very much fond of money, power, control, and soft bed represents sex life. So he wanted to enjoy sex life unlimitedly with so many, of his queens and all. So, in fact, he wanted to control this whole universe. He wanted to become immortal totally. He did not want that the enjoyment that he is having should end at some time. Rather, it should go on and on, on and on, on and on till the time he is living in this world. So, in fact, he wanted to become immortal, Amaratva. So then what he did was he did a severe penance, severe tapasya. And, tapasya, what was the motive behind that? So he wanted to control, he wanted to please Lord Brahma and then acquire all the benedictions, right? So there is, tapasya is also of two types, if you see. There are materialistic and there are spiritual, tapasya. Tapasya means it's a voluntary difficulty taken to please somebody, to achieve something, right? It just
Sorry to
is
interrupt,
something like,
sir.
yeah.
Sir, I think your voice is little less. Can you keep that yes near your mouth? Yes.
Okay, okay. So I'll take care. Is it audible now?
Yeah, better. Yes.
Okay, it's better and still not fine, right?
Yeah, now clear. Yes. I
Okay,
think.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do this way so that it becomes more easier. Is it okay?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, perfect. Yeah.
So the point was, Hiranyakashipu did a lot of penance or tapasya, so that he achieves a lot of mystic siddhis and powers, so that he can control the whole universe. You will see that Hiranyakashipu was a totally materialistic person. He was not a spiritual person. There is a difference between what is known as materialistic and spiritualist. Materialist means everything in this world is, for them, a combination of matter. So they have this belief that if I can manipulate matter in a way that it suits me, then I'll be happy. So their secret for success or happiness is what? By manipulating matter, by controlling matter, by engaging themselves in extracting juice from the materialistic activities. Whereas a spiritualist person, what he does is he takes to spiritual path. He doesn't believe that matter can give him happiness. It's something like it is said that you can buy a soft bed, a Dunlop pillow, or a bed, but you cannot buy sleep. So exactly, in the same way, spiritualist understands the difference between matter and spirit, or the body and the soul, right? So the body is made up of all these five different elements, panch mahabhut that we call, and then there is a atma, which is totally spirit. So a person who is spiritualist, he endeavors for taking care of the spirit also along with the body. Whereas a materialist, he doesn't care for the atma or the spirit soul. He doesn't understand the relationship between the spirit soul and the super soul. He doesn't inquire for that. But still, you will see that Hiranyakashipu did a severe tapasya for around 10,000 years. He was there and standing on one leg, and he was trying to do tapasya to please Brahma. So much so that his whole body became weak because he was not taking any food, anything. So his body became totally weak, and time passed, and you will see that a lot of ant holes that were formed around his body, and he was only left with his skeleton. But because of the severe tapasya, there was lot of fire that was there around, and he was totally becoming more and more powerful because of his tapasya. It is something like whenever you are having an exam, you will see that people sometimes read up to late nights, or sometimes people get up very early. Parents also become too much conscious about facilitating the children so that their exams are done well. So that is also called as a tapasya, but that is meant for achieving some material results, right? Whereas there can be a spiritual tapasya also, like sometimes we take to like, let's say, going to temple, taking up early morning bath, and performing our spiritual duties, like you all might be chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So that is also a tapasya, so that you are taking out all the time, and and let's say, for example, all of you are sitting for this session, trying to understand the deeper aspects of spirituality, right? You could have given your time to some other thing, but still you have taken time, so that's also a small tapasya, but it is a spiritual tapasya. Okay, so there is a difference between these two. But this Hiranyakashipu was a very typical person. He wanted to enjoy everything of this world without God. That was his specialty. He wanted to have money, women, power, prestige, everything, but without God. He wanted Lakshmi without Lakshmi Pati. That was his problem, right? So we will go through this article that is there on your screen. And we will, there are questions and answers, simple, very simple, so that we understand things much better. Okay. Yes, the question one, why are we comparing this atheistic people to Ravana, Kamsa, or Hiranyakashipu? You will see that Hiranyakashipu was not the only one person who was trying to control over this material world, and rather there are other demons, we know that Ravana or Kamsa, who were also trying in a similar way. And what to speak of that, even today also we are also trying in the same way. We don't want to obey the laws of God, and we want to enjoy to the fullest capacity, right? To the fullest extent, we want all the facilities to be given to us, and we just don't want to uh, don't want to follow the laws of God, or even give time for spirituality, do not want to understand what is the relationship between the soul and the super soul. So we, in fact, we want to solve all our problems by materialistic ways. Like there are three types of difficulties you will see. These are called as adhyatmic clays, adi bhautik, and adi daivik clays. That means the miseries caused because of our own body and mind, that is adhyatmic. Adi bhautik, that is the miseries caused because of other living entities. And adi daivik clays, that means miseries caused because of natural calamities. Just like a few days back you had got this cyclone, and now also in Odisha today, perhaps there will be, today or tomorrow there will be another cyclone. So these are called as adi daivik clashes. But you will see that scientists or the technocrats or whatever we all are doing nowadays, we try to solve our problems using matter only, right? So there is a spiritual side of it which we are missing sometimes. So that's why it is compared that the materialists are compared to these kind of big demons. And why? There are four options. Can you see and tell which one of them is the best suitable answer? Okay, A and B people are saying. Okay, so let us see. They want to stop all the problems of disease, old age, death without surrendering to God. They struggle to create facilities to enjoy this world to the fullest extent without God. They give up all mischievous tendencies and become humble servant of God. They want a kingdom of God with God and his laws abided by all. So option D is not correct. Option C is also not correct. Of course, option 1 and 2, they are almost similar, but the option 2 is the best suiting answer for this, right? So this Hiranyakashipu, what he did was, he went for tapasya. So Brahmaji is pleased with him. After he pleases Brahmaji, then he asks for the benediction. What is that? He says that, give me immortality. I don't want to die. Nobody should be able to kill me in this world. See, just this fear of death is so much that he did so much of tapasya just to avoid this, right? Because they know that no matter how much we endeavor in this world, no matter how much we accumulate in this world, at the time of death, everything is going to pass away, right? We will not carry even a single penny with us to the other world. So that's why they know that this death is the time where actually all our enjoyment ceases. So he did not want to become old even. You will see that Hiranyakashipu had so much of power that he had controlled the weather also. He will say, let's say today there is so much of hot sun is there, so you'll go and say that, oh sun, you just stop all that, I don't want so much of heat. Let's say the temperature to come down to 5 degrees, I want to feel like as if I'm in Switzerland. So what will happen? Sun will again cool down. So that was the power, or that was the expectation of Hiranyakashipu. He wanted to totally reverse the whole thing, right? So he asked Lord Brahma that, give me the boon of immortality. Now Brahma says that even I am also not immortal. Even I am also bound to die one day after completing my life. So in this earthly planet and the heavenly planets, everybody is bound to death. It's not that in heaven people are not dying, but our lifespan and their lifespan is a lot of differences there. So if we live for 100 years, they live for thousands or lakhs of years. So there is this difference. So Brahma says that I'm also not free from death, so I cannot give you this boon. Then what did Hiranyakashipu do? He thought that, let me trick Brahmaji. I'll ask a boon in such a way that it is quite impossible for somebody to kill me. Like what he said? He said that I should not be killed by any weapon, or I should not be killed by any mantra, or any power. I should not be killed in the daytime nor in the night time. I should not be killed inside a house or outside a house. I should not be killed by a human or any animal. So like this, he put so many conditions. I should not be killed I should not die on the ground, neither on air. So now it becomes very difficult for someone to fulfill all these criterias. So he thought that perhaps I will become near to immortal because of this. I'll become more and more powerful. So then what he does, that Brahmaji is pleased. So that's why he gives this boon. Okay, tathastu, tathastu. So let it be, no issue. So then Hiranyakashipu becomes more and more powerful, right? He knows that nobody can kill him in such a way, so that's why he started terrorizing the whole three worlds. He goes to Indra and attacks Indra. He's sitting on his throne. He said, all of you now, you can leave this heavenly planet, so I am the king now. I will derive all the I will say how this universe will run. Nobody is equal to me, nobody is beyond me, right? So he controlled, like, even sometimes, the demigods, they ask, but what about other departments we have to run, like the sun god, the moon, the the wealthy, so all that have to be run by us. So then he says that, no, no, what you do is you leave the place, I will run everything. So like that, he wanted to control everything, right? Now what happens is, by that, he actually falsely becomes proud, and then calls for his own destruction slowly. So there is a second question that you will see that, Hiranya means gold and Kasipu means soft bed. So how Hiranyakashipu's mentality is relevant today? Can you try to answer this second question? Yes. Modern day society is changing after money and addicted to sex. Modern education is geared out of money making and not man making. The fever of materialism is on the increase, and the whole globe is experiencing the heat. People are becoming godless and increasingly addicted to sense gratification. Yeah, correct. So the right answer is first one, A. So now, do we want to become like big, like Hiranyakashipu was a big demon, but we are all very small demons, little, but we have that same tendency with us. So the modern education system is not able to help us to become better persons in this world. Rather, what we are doing is we are, going down and down. We are not developing good skills and good values within us to become a better human being. Rather, we are becoming more and more, better demons. And the more we associate with these materialistic people, materialistic activities and matter, what happens is the craving for matter increases more and more. It is something like, if you deal about money for a long time, you will see that you will become a master, and the craving for it increases more and more, right? Those people who have got so much of money, like crores of rupees with them. So I was thinking sometimes, if I had around some 1 crore rupee at least with me, then I can simply live my life easily. I don't have to go for job, because I'll put 1 crore rupees in my bank account as saving, and I will earn some interest. It will be around 40 to 50,000 per month, which is sufficient enough for me to, run my life. Then if you see, there are so many people, they have crores of rupees, even more than 1 crore. In fact, some people have 100,000 lakhs, but still, why they are running after money? Why they are restless? Can they be, can they not be peaceful in their life? The problem is, the more you deal with a particular thing, the more you achieve success in a particular field, the craving increases. You want to earn more. You want to, increase the empire more and more. So that's what exactly was happening with these demons. Ravana or Kamsa or Hiranyakashipu or anyone of that sort, right? Yes. So he would, drink wine, and he will just torture people. He did a rule that, all the pious people, they go to the hell, and those who are mischievous and they are creating trouble in this world, let them be sent to the heaven. So he wanted to totally, reverse the process of how it was happening. He wanted that I be, worshipped like people worship Lord Vishnu, as God. So he said that nothing doing. You should worship me. You should chant my name. So that I become the God of the universe. So that was it. But truly speaking, nobody can become God. God is always God. So we are all also trying to become small gods. Like people say, cricket is our religion, and who is our God? You might have heard this you know statement sometimes. Cricket is our religion, Sachin is our God. So nowadays people are trying to make their own gods. There are in fact many self-proclaimed gods. They say that I am the avatar of Kalki. There are many other such people, but these are all foolish things. Just like these, demon was doing, right? He stopped all sacrifices, charity, and austerities performed. He did not allow anything of that sort to be done. And then he became a dictator, right? Yes. This paragraph is very much important. You can just read them. That in this world there are two types of people: materialists and spiritualists. Materialist has got no faith in God, and he believes the culture of make money, eat, drink, and be merry, enjoy life, and there is no need for to care for God or religion. The spiritualists recognize in लोग these people, the materialists, they always say that कल किसने देखा है, क्या होगा किसको पता, तो अभी जितना है बस जी लो अपना जिंदगी. So they have many such songs in Bollywood, and there are many poets who have written such kind of poems trying to motivate. They say that we are trying to motivate people. They say that no, yes, you can do it, you can achieve it, you have the capacity, you are the controller, etc. But truly speaking, they just try to, even sometimes these people will go and they will do charity, they will do service for human mankind, etc. There are some pious people, but they don't believe in God, they don't believe in religion. So yeah, to that extent that even they are helping mankind, but they say that we don't want to care for God. Now there are spiritualists, they recognize the presence of the Supreme Lord as the creator of the universe and provider of everything, right? And they want to love everyone, they want to serve everyone in connection with God. It's not like in separation with God, right? A true spiritualist not only feels a duty to thank God for all his gifts, but also awakens his love for God, which is the true innate dharma or occupation of the soul, right? Exactly as children not only thank parents for their gifts, but also love them. Now, a small child, to be happy in his life, what he has to do? Let's say a small child of 2 years, 3 years old, he doesn't know anything about this world. Let's say the father is walking and the child is there, holding his hand. He's also walking. So sometimes you have seen these children, they try to run away from the parents, and they want to see that, hey, see this, there is a truck, there is a car, there is a train. So they want to see everything new in this world. But then when on the road the truck comes very close to them, they again come back, they to their parents, right? So initially they thought that we will enjoy separately from my parents if I become little bit free. But when problem comes, then only they come, right? So for the children, how they can be happy? They have to simply love their parents, right? They don't have to worry about, okay, will I get my food the next day morning, or will I get all my toys I want, or how will I purchase books for my schools, what will I wear? All that they don't have to worry. What they have to do is they have to simply love their parents, and parents will provide everything. So similar is the case, that the moment we love, the moment we feel the presence of Lord in our life, then what happens? Lord provides everything for us, for our benefit. We don't have to separately endeavor, separately work hard for achieving extra, right? Question 3. Hiranyakashipu occupied the throne of heavenly king Indra. after driving away Indra and other demigods. What do you infer from this? The question number 3. Everyone in this world desires to control other living beings and be a master of themselves. Hiranyakashipu utilized his strength acquired by austerities to defeat the demigods. When one gets some power, one tends to misuse it against others, breaking God's laws. The power of demons generally overpowers the power of demigods. Which one of them is correct? Answer A. Everyone in this world desires to control over other things, other living beings, and be a master themselves. Yes, it is partially correct. Any other? Yes, someone is saying that C. Yes, C is also partially correct. In fact, C is more correct because when one gets some power, one tends to misuse it against others, breaking God's law. So we are referring to Hiranyakashipu, who is actually, yes, partially if you say A, B are also correct, but C is the most befitting one here. That he was trying to misuse his power, like he was a terrorist kind of thing. He was a super terrorist. In fact, he terrorized the whole 3 worlds. What to speak of only in this earth. Like terrorists do, they also have power. They also have understanding. They also have control over matter and guns and bullets and money. So if they want, they can help society. They can live peacefully themselves and let others also live. But they want to misuse their power. They want to um, create terror among people and try to prove their supremacy over others, right? So one important point here is to be noted is that for a leader, he has to empower someone who is actually worthy. If we empower someone who is not capable of handling that, then it becomes very troublesome to manage the what will happen afterwards, right? Yes. Question number 4. What is the difference between a materialist and a spiritualist? Materialist has faith in God, that he has provided all materials and cares for God and religion. Spiritualist not only recognizes God's gifts but also loves God as children do with parents. Spiritualists live life peacefully with the slogan that eat, drink, and be merry. Materialist has got no faith in God. Spiritualist has faith in God. Which one is correct? Yes, people are saying A and B. B and D. D. Okay. Vinayak is saying D. So actually this D is correct. Materialist has got no faith in God. Spiritualist has faith in God. And B is also correct. Spiritualist not only recognizes God's gifts but also loves God as children do with parents. The prime characteristics is that loving him, right? Even sometimes materialists also, there are pious materialists who think that yes, this is all, like I have not created this air or water or gold and silver, all the metals that we get from earth, but still somebody has created. Somehow it has come to us for our benefit. It's a gift that is given to us, but they don't believe in God per se. But spiritualist, he knows and he loves, so that's why he cares for others, he shares with others. That is one of his important criteria, right? Hiranyakashipu, he behaved as a hardcore materialist and had but unfortunately what happened, for a demon like Hiranyakashipu, he got a child whose name was Prahlad. What was the meaning of Prahlad? Prahlad means pra Alhad. Alhad means happiness, one who actually gives happiness to others. That he is called as Prahlad. Now, Prahlad was a great devotee of Lord Vishnu. So he believed in fact, when he was there in the womb of his mother, so Narad Muni had given Bhagavad Purana to him, to her. So Prahlad Maharaj, when he was there in the mother's womb, so at that time only he heard about Srimad Bhagavatam from Narad Muni. So Narad Muni was a pure devotee of Lord. So when we hear something, the glorification of God from a pure devotee or a person who has faith, then it increases our own faith also. Initially, when we start in our spiritual life, when in our journey, we have got very little faith. Yes, we feel that okay, there is someone who is actually trying to help us. We are not in control. Perhaps there is some energy who is always giving us guidance. There is an inner guidance that we are getting, but we actually don't know much about him. But the moment we hear glorification of Lord from the mouth of a realized person, then our faith increases in the subject matter, right? So Prahlad had heard about the glorification of Lord from Narad Muni. So that's why his faith, conviction, devotion, attention, all that had increased many folds. So when Prahlad was a small child, he would always, engage himself in worshipping Lord and in trying to glorify and trying to chant Lord Vishnu's name. But Hiranyakashipu was totally against him. He did not allow. He wanted that rather, my son should become a diplomat. He should try to learn the art of fighting, and he should become a economic person so that he can bring prosperity to the country. So all these material qualities he wanted. So he wanted to give him this education. But Prahlad was not interested in all these things. He said that the first and foremost thing is to practice spirituality at an early age, right? He says that Kaumaret Acharet Pragyo. Kaumara means at the age of 5. That is the age where one should start practicing spirituality. Now we all are, at least I am 31 years now. So all of you are at least 20, 21 plus, or I think 18 to 21, within that range. So we are already late, right? So Prahlad Maharaj says that we should start early, and we should try to understand how God is animating in our life, animating our life. He's providing all our necessities. He's helping us. He's loving us. So we have to understand that and love God, right? Yes. So Hiranyakashipu wanted his son to become educated in diplomacy, politics, etc. But that's why he put Prahlad in a school of Sanda and Amarka, who were the son of his spiritual master Sukracharya. So Sanda and Amarka were trying to teach him all these materialistic subject matter, but Prahlad Maharaj was not interested. He was more interested in glorifying the Lord. So what will happen whenever he will be there in school, he will call some of his friends together and start glorifying Lord. He will tell about Lord Vishnu. He will ask them to chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, and then he will glorify. He will say the pastimes of Lord to their children, to the fellow classmates. Now Sanda and Amarka tried a lot, but they could not change this boy, right? He continued to be a pure devotee. He always remained fixed in his devotion and conviction, right? The question number 5, if you see, Prahlad did not like to learn politics, economic development, etc. Why? What is the problem in learning all these things? Because the subject is very difficult to comprehend. Hai na? Becoming a chartered accountant is not easy, right? Prahlad was a pure devotee of Supreme Lord, and thus he was not interested in these subjects. They were taught by yes. The befitting answer is the D, option 4. So why he was not interested in such subject matters? Now, does that mean that we also should become like not interested in? कल से हम लोग बोलेंगे घर पे कि पापा बहुत हो गया, enough. I don't want to study my engineering now, or my medical now, or my chartered accountancy now. I am just going to become a pure devotee. Is it possible? No, it's not possible. See, the point is we are not here to, I mean, criticize the modern education system. It is We are not here to find faults only, but rather what we are saying is that in this world, we for living we need earning, we need a particular profession, but at the same time, what we are trying is we have to add just one element, that is Krishna, that is God, that is spirituality into our life. Then everything else will be taken care, right? The materialistic education is also required, but at the same time we should not forget you know God's part in our life. Like there is a golden rule that always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. So if we remember him always, in fact in Bhagavad Gita, if you see, he always said to Arjuna that do your duty but remembering me. Before remembering the instructions that I have given, that you are not the doer, rather I am the doer, you just do your duty, that much. But it's not that there are some people who modify this particular sloka, this idea, and they say that you just do your duty and forget about everything else. But that is not the correct one. You do your duty, you do the work that has been prescribed to you as a duty, but under my guidance, remembering me. That is more important. If we do not remember him, then all that we do is of no use. Yeah. Are there any questions so far till now? Or is it relevant? Are you able to relate it to your life? Vinayak is saying that it is possible only if I am the son of Ambani. For what? I could not get this. Acha, acha. I don't want to study. Okay, okay. I got it, got it. Okay, so once upon a time, the king of demons, Hiranyakashipu, took his son on his lap and very affectionately inquired, "My dear son, please let me know, what do you think is the best of all the subjects that you have studied from your teachers?" Right? What is the best thing that you have studied? He just wanted to inquire from his child. What did Prahlad reply? "O king of the demons." He is asking his, father, he is addressing his father in this way. "Any person who has accepted a temporary material body as everything is certainly embarrassed by suffering." Any person who has accepted a temporary material body as everything, कि हमारा शरीर सब कुछ है, शरीर से संबंधित जो भी वस्तु है वो सब कुछ है, then he is certainly embarrassed by suffering. Such a person should go to Vrindavan and should thus take the shelter of Supreme Lord Krishna. When Prahlad spoke about the path of self-realization in devotional service, the king of the demons heard Prahlad's words, and he, laughingly said, "Thus, the intelligence of children spoiled by, the words of the enemy." Hiranyakashipu advised his assistants, "My dear demons, give complete protection to this boy at the Gurukula where he is instructed, so that his intelligence will not be further influenced by Vaishnavas who may go there in disguise." So first, Hiranyakashipu said that perhaps this small child is getting in all this information from the devotees of the Lord. So be careful, seal the whole, lock down the whole school. No one should be able to enter there. All the Vaishnavas, it's a containment zone. So only those things will be taught to the child, which I want. Otherwise, it's not, allowed. Be careful. But then the teachers, inquired from Prahlad why he was going against their teachings. Prahlad replied in his mind that Lord Vishnu is exactly the person who is actually trying to, no, what he's saying that he was attracted to Lord Vishnu exactly as iron filings are attracted to a magnet, right? In fact, you will see that a magnet attracts the iron filings. But here, in this case, Prahlad was like a iron filing and Krishna was the magnet. But later, what happens is Prahlad becomes the magnet and then Hiranyakashipu, I'm sorry, Lord Krishna comes out of the pillar as a magnet. Here the iron filing is attracting the magnet, right? So Prahlad said that his life's goal was to become an unalloyed devotee of Lord Vishnu and recognize that all living beings are God's children and should not be discriminated as friend or enemy. The teachers, being very angry at this answer, chastised and threatened the boy with many fearful conditions. They taught him to the best of their ability and then brought him before his father. They tried a lot, the teachers, Sanda and Namarka, but they could not convince this child. But in fact, Prahlad was trying to convince their teachers, right? How did Hiranyakashipu respond after hearing the reply of Prahlad? What did he do? Question number 6. He accepted that temporary body is embarrassed, material body is embarrassed by suffering, and one should go to Vrindavan and take shelter of Supreme Lord. He laughed and felt that his small son is influenced by teachings of Vaishnavas. He thought that teachings about Lord Vishnu have spoiled the intelligence of this son. He told his teachers to give complete protection to his boy. Yes, answer is D, right? What was Prahlad's evaluation of his father's anxiety and suggested what is the solution that he gave to his father? Question number 7. Yes. Yes, answer is A. The answer is A. Right. So now comes the interesting part. So till now everything was going on very peaceful in Prahlad's life and even in Hiranyakashipu's life. But from here onwards there is a twist, because Hiranyakashipu will become impatient now. He cannot tolerate. He cannot tolerate that his own, this small child, he is trying to teach me lessons. He is trying to tell me big philosophy that I want to hear, that I'll have to hear. So that's not possible. So now he becomes angry on whatever Prahlad is saying. Like afterwards, what happens? Prahlad is taken to his father, and his father asks, so what is the best thing that he has learned from his teachers, right? And then he says that hearing and chanting about the transcendental holy name, form, qualities, and paraphernalia pastimes of Lord Vishnu, and offering the Lord respectful worship, offering prayers to the Lord, becoming his servant, considering Lord as one's best friend, and surrendering everything onto him by serving him with the body, mind, and words. All these are 9 processes of devotional service. And one who has directed his life to the service of Krishna through these 9 methods should be understood to be the most learned person, for he has acquired complete knowledge. So Prahlad Maharaj, he has got complete faith on the Lord, and then he tries to glorify that. Yes. So then afterwards, Hiranyakashipu asks him, "So where from are you getting all this energy? All this strength that you are saying?" So Prahlad says that, "My Lord, the same source from where you are getting your energy, I am also getting the same energy." Right. So hearing all these things, Hiranyakashipu, what he does, he says that, kill this boy, because earlier he was trying to chastise him, but it was not possible. First of all, he puts him into the pan of hot oil, hot bubbling oil, so that Prahlad will be killed. But then Prahlad was totally undisturbed, and he has complete faith, and he was constantly chanting the names of Lord Vishnu. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So then he is saved from that also. Then Hiranyakashipu instructs in many different ways that, throw him from the cliff of a mountain, and then put him into a room of deadly cobras, poisons, all around, so that all the cobras will bite him. Nothing happens. He puts him under the mighty elephants, so that elephants will crush him down. Nothing happens. There is this Holika. She says that she was the sister of Hiranyakashipu. She says that, "I have got a boon that if I take him to fire, I will not be burned. Rather, everything else will burn." So then that was also tried. What was the result? That Holika herself got, burnt. Nothing happened to Prahlad Maharaj. So among all these, you know, uh, the troubles that his father gave, he was like totally, angry on his son. But in fact, on not on his son, but rather on, you know his supremacy. He could sense that his supremacy is being, challenged. Someone is there within his house, sitting in, is a very small child, but he is challenging his supremacy, right? So afterwards, then, Prahlad Maharaj was standing, and then he says that, Prahlad is telling that, Krishna is everywhere, God is everywhere, he is present in this whole universe, he is present within your heart also. Then Hiranyakashipu was not able to understand. Where is he? Where is he? Just if he is there, then show me, show me. That was his proposition. Sometimes, you generally we miss something, like there is a pen, I have a pen in my pocket, I have kept it in my pant pocket, and then I'm searching it everywhere. Where did I keep my pen? Hey, have you seen my pen? Like that. So here also Prahlad Maharaj says that, Krishna is there in your heart. Why are you searching everywhere? But Hiranyakashipu was not able to understand this. Then he asks, is he there in this pillar also, in this big pillar? Then Prahlad Maharaj says, yes, he's there in the pillar also. It is not that Prahlad Maharaj, had checked it beforehand, that okay, whether Lord is there or not. Maybe if I say yes and then later Lord doesn't come out, then what will happen to my, prestige or the proposition that I am giving? But he did not, do it in that way. He had complete faith in Lord and his protection, so he was totally, surrendered. So he immediately said yes. And then what happened? So Hiranyakashipu goes with a big, gada in his hand and tries to break the pillar. And as soon as the pillar is broken, uh, from within that pillar came a very ferocious personality. He had a body of human and a head of a lion. So Brahmaji had given him so much of, like, earlier Hiranyakashipu thought that I will trick Brahmaji by asking complicated, you know, benediction, that nobody will be able to kill me. But Lord Narasimhadev, Nara and Simha, he had all these features in his incarnation, that he was neither a man nor a lion. He was a half man, half lion, right? And after he comes out of the pillar, there was a big fight between Hiranyakashipu and Lord Nrsimhadev. It is not that Hiranyakashipu was immediately ripped apart. He was immediately killed, not like that. So it took a lot of time, around a lot of time for each one of them to fight. And then with that fight, Hiranyakashipu was totally exhausted. He applied all his strength and energy to counteract Lord Nrsimhadev, but then he could not succeed. And later, when he's totally tired and exhausted, so at that time, Lord Nrsimhadev becomes very ferocious and takes him onto his lap. On his lap, what he did, he used his nails. Nakha means the nails. So with his nails, he ripped apart his body, right, his chest, and performed that operation. So we will see the later part, what all happens after that. Tomorrow's session, tomorrow morning also we will have one session of the same, and we will cover the rest of the part. Okay. So Jai Jai Sri Lakshminapati Nrsimhadev Bhagwan ki Jai. So today is very auspicious day, the appearance day of Lord Nrsimhadev. I would request all of you, please, you can chant some more rounds. You can try to contemplate on the qualities of Prahlad, how he was so much surrendered and how he was so much of convinced. Why he was convinced? Because he heard it from a pure devotee. So you can pray to Lord Nrsimhadev that please remove all the obstacles in my life in practicing devotional service, and please give me also this conviction and strength to hear more and more about you. Okay. So I would thank all of you for your patience and kind attention. If there are any questions, you may post, or else I'll hand over the podium to Vikram.
So students can ask questions if they have any.
Sir, why Shiva did not stop Hiranyakashipu? Okay, so actually there was a direct connection between like Hiranyakashipu, because he had got this benediction, so he had become very powerful. It's not that Shiva cannot counteract, but it is the plan of Lord sometimes. Like all of you might be knowing that in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam srajamyaham. So I come again and again in this world to do what? There are two things: paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya cha duskritam, right? Dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami juge juge. There are two major purposes for which Lord comes as an incarnation. That abhyuthanam adharmasya, those who are like irreligious people, I have to uproot them. I have to clear all these people from the from on the earth. And then paritranaya sadhunam, that means to give pleasure to the devotees. There are these two things mainly. Had it been that okay, हिरण्यकशिपु को अगर मारना था तो वो तो सबके हृदय में बैठे हैं भगवान, बस थोड़ा सा चाबी मोड़ देते वहां से और उनका जो हार्ट बीट है वो भी बंद हो जाता हिरण्यकशिपु का, उसको कुछ करने का जरूरत ही नहीं था इतना मैंने he did not have this requirement to come as a Nrsimhadev and perform these pastimes and then fight with Hiranyakashipu and then kill him, right? So it is not required for Krishna. If he wants, he can simply stop his heartbeat from within. But why he did so much? It is because he wanted to give pleasure to his devotees. He wanted to keep the words of his devotees. He wanted to show to this world that, see, a devotee should be like Prahlad Maharaj. So that's why all these pastimes happened. Okay. Okay, Rohit Kumar is asking, Another question, that Hiranyakashipu was a servant of Lord Vishnu at Vaikunth, but due to some curse, he got this life, and to free from this curse, Lord Vishnu took his incarnation. This story I had heard, but I have not heard such kind of story. Maybe you can cross check with whom, like from where you heard, but this is not actually true. There was no curse on Prahlad Maharaj, rather he was a pure devotee, and such kind of devotees come here to show to this world that how they are, great by their example. They are not bound people, they are rather already liberated, but still they are just performing a drama over here, they are just performing a pastime over here for our pleasure, right? Hanuman Priyanshu is asking, Hanuman, Parshuram, etc. are Chiranjeevi, na? Then why was Hiranyakashipu given the boon of immortality? Uh, Parshuram is also an incarnation of Lord. Yeah, not given, I understood. So Parshuram is also an incarnation of Lord, and so that's why they are living eternally, right? So in this world, you will see everything except Lord is, in fact, you will see that the soul never dies. The soul is always eternal, but the body is actually changing, right? Let's say someone who is Brahmaji in this life, or Indra. Indra is also not living for the whole lifetime. He will also die at some point, but then again he will take birth. So because of the pious credits, when people do pious activities, they earn sukritis, and because of which they can even go to the heavenly planets, right? Now within the heavenly residents, Indra is the king of the heaven. So that's how. So these people like Parshuram or Hanuman, they are incarnations, they are not ordinary people, they are incarnations of Lord only, right? But Hiranyakashipu was actually a normal person, but he was trying to achieve this immortality. So that's why he was not given, because even Brahmaji himself did not have this power of, he himself was not immortal. How what to speak of giving immortality? That is against the laws of nature. That's not possible, right? And Brahmaji even sensed that yes, Hiranyakashipu will definitely misuse his powers, but he was like he was bound by the austerity that Hiranyakashipu did, that yes, he had to give him some benedictions because of his austerity. So he had said, okay, at least I cannot give you immortality, but all these conditions will be fulfilled, whatever you are asking. So you will have a very special, death ceremony that will be there before you. Personally, भगवान को आना पड़ेगा आपको उद्धार करने के लिए. There is no other way, right? Of course, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, they were actually earlier the Jaya and Vijaya of the spiritual world. So they were sent to this material world as as a curse in their previous life. Okay, Rohit is asking, sir, you had said that when Hiranyakashipu asked the boon of immortality from Lord Brahma, then Lord Brahma replied that even he is not immortal. But at the time of Samudra Manthan, all devas were provided with Amrit to drink. So how Lord Brahma is not immortal? Okay, so the point is, see, when we are saying immortal, that means they will never die, right? But uh, there are 14 planetary systems, if you see. Okay, this Bhuloka, Bhurloka, Mahaloka, Tapaloka, Janaloka, and then there is Vaikuntha, then there is Golok Vrindavan. So like this, there are the upper planetary systems, there are the lower planetary systems like the the Patal, Talatal, Rasatal, Sutal. So there are different lower planetary systems also. So the soul, when he is transmigrating from one body to the other body, depending on his pious credits or the sinful activities, so he will be given a different planetary system where he can live for some time. Let's say if somebody is a very pious person, so he goes to this heavenly planets, and then there he has his quota. Just like let's say you are in India, right? You want to go to US, so what is required? You require a visa. Sometimes people are having student visa, sometimes people have got this tourist visa, some people are working visa, some are very resident, they can reside there, right? So let's say you are on a tourist visa, so it is valid for 15 days. So after 15 days you have to come back to this world, you cannot live there, right? Only Vaikuntha is a place where people are immortal, people will not die. Otherwise all other places people have to die, there is no other option for them. So of course their lifespan is much more compared to ours. So that is the meaning of like becoming so that the devatas are totally um, living a very long life, and they have got better facilities to live there. Okay, so what did the Amrit did? Okay, so it will be better if we start the class tomorrow, starting from this topic only, about the Samudra Manthan and the Amrit and all. Is it okay, Vikram?
Yes, yes.
It's already like 10 o'clock.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
So those students who have any question,
This tomorrow
discuss. Yeah.
starting. Yeah.
So thank you, sir, for explaining so nicely about in the starting, in the beginning, you mentioned about the Hiranyakashipu, that Hiranyakashipu wanting two things, money and women, but and he wanted to enjoy that for the eternal time, and he was asking that boon from the Brahma, but we see that Brahma is also not immortal. So then he asked many conditions, and then you mentioned about the two kinds of people. The one is the materialistic and spiritualist. So materialist people, they have the culture, uh, eat, drink, and be merry, khao pio or maja karo. So then they don't have any faith on the Lord. But the true spiritualist, they not only feels a duty, they also thank the Lord for all the gifts that they received. So that's how you mentioned very nicely about these two things, and then Prahlad Maharaj entry, and further we'll see tomorrow. So thank you, sir, for your so wonderful session, and we are very eager to have a second part of this session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.